and welcome to this very special edition of Women in Construction, a new podcast with Breaking Ground and CIF on the occasion of today's International Women's Day. As you can hear, it's very noisy. I'm here in the Johnstown estate in Enfield and we're at the break, but I'm surrounded by hundreds of women from the construction industry, all kinds of backgrounds here, from health and safety, engineering, project management, finance, all gathered here for this very special day. The biggest event that CIF has, it's really grown into the most significant, popular event, and we're delighted to see it really continuing on this successful path. So speaking of a successful path, I'm here with Andrew Brownlee, who is our new CEO.
Yeah. And
Andrew joined the CIF about 6 months ago now, Andrew, is that right?
Nearly, yeah, absolutely. It's start of October.
How are you finding it?
Yeah, looked really exciting. You know, it's such a perfect time to come into an industry that's at the forefront of kind of Ireland's kind of economic and social transformation. You know, like we have massive house and massive infrastructure challenges, and to be, you know, the solution and the driver of meeting those challenges is a really, really exciting place to be.
And you obviously came to CIF from Sulis, where you saw a big transformational change in Sulis. It's very different seeing the industry from the inside.
Yeah, it's different context. So in Sulis, like, would have been in charge of apprenticeships. We would have been overseeing Safe Pass and the construction schemes. So I knew a little bit about the industry from that perspective. But like coming in and seeing the incredible work and projects that we're involved in every day, you know, the healthcare facilities, the education, the new communities that we build, like, it truly is inspiring. And I think, you know, we're in a perfect place to really deliver for Ireland over the next few years.
And you can really get a sense that when you're in a room like this today, and there's so much energy, and you can hear the buzz, and even listening to the experts talking today about digitalization, ESG, health and safety, you can see just the dynamism, I guess, in the industry.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that strikes you. I've been out in the last first few months trying to meet as many members as possible, and I think the passion, the commitment, the energy is the one thing that really strikes you. Like, all they're interested in is finding the solutions, you know, and no one day is like another in construction. You know, the technology that we use is changing by the day, so it really is mind-blowing when you go out there and you see the type of work that we're involved in, and you see how committed they are to growing our housing supply, to unlocking our infrastructure, and to, you know, putting in place the sustainable communities that Ireland needs.
And actually on that, like, I remember our President Stephen saying recently that, you know, the construction industry and the companies, their job is done when something is built. But sometimes getting to the stage where the building is finished can be more difficult than maybe the public would imagine or stakeholders would imagine. Can you talk a bit about what members are saying around that?
Yeah. I mean, look, on the one hand, like, I think we had a really positive year last year in terms of the lobbying that we did and our advocacy on behalf of members. You saw real policy change in housing. You saw the Accelerating Infrastructure Task Force commit to a series of reforms by government to, I suppose, fast-track the development of infrastructure. And that's all great, but I suppose our members are still telling us that, you know, they're not seeing real signs of a ramp-up of activity that you would expect when we have a national housing and national infrastructure emergency. I mean, on housing, we still need to zone more land. We still need to make sure that all local authorities are accountable for unlocking housing supply in their local areas. You know, we need to tackle the blight of judicial reviews that causes so much uncertainty and stops private sector investment in there. On infrastructure, you know, it's about aligning the water, the energy, the transport infrastructure with where we need to build our houses, with where our major population centres are, and where our populations are going to grow over the next kind of 10 years. I mean, Ireland's population could grow by another third by 2040. So we need to be ready for that. We need to be prepared.
And it's preparing for the future, but catching up with what maybe hasn't been happening as fast as it should have been. And
yeah.
It seems like such a big, complex challenge.
Yeah.
Like, coming into this as the new CEO, representing all our members from housing to main contracting specialists, like what do you see for this year in terms of really tackling that?
Yeah, well, 2026 needs to be the year of delivery. So, you know, we need to see, you know, the Housing Activation Office, their work kind of take effect, you know, and start unlocking those single pieces of infrastructure that can get houses developed and ready to live in within, you know, 2-3 year time frame. You know, in the longer term, we need that accelerating infrastructure work to take hold. And actually, all we need is pretty simple. We really need a tangible pipeline of infrastructure development projects that our membership can see, so we can ramp up the capacity, we can ramp up our workforce and be ready to deliver. And that's what's lacking at the moment. We have the commitment to policy reform. We have a national development plan committing 275 billion of investment. You know, we have kind of sectoral plans emerging, but we still don't really understand, you know, when projects are happening, how much investment's involved, you know, when they're going to be delivered and you know, and when they're going to be tendered. And that's what we really need to see now, that certainty, and we're ready to go.
And like, we're seeing so many of our big, capable members, excellent Irish companies, going overseas now because that is where their projects are viable. We're hearing that 70% of our members aren't actually doing public works. It's too complex, it's not viable. And we were even talking about that in the Oireachtas committee this week. So like, how do we make that pipeline move on? How do we get that surety?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think we need to hold the government to account. We need to hold local authorities to account. We need to, you know, work with our partners in Iscaran and ESB and the NTA to, I suppose, like really introduce more certainty to the market. And you, like you said, you know, our contractors are telling us their international business growing at 4 times the pace of their Irish business. So how can that be right when we have such a housing and infrastructure emergency here?
Absolutely. And then on pipeline, obviously, in order to get, you know, attract more people into construction, we need that pipeline. So obviously your background is very much in getting that apprenticeship pipeline really like set up and getting apprenticeships as a real first choice for students and the encouragement of career counsellors and families and parents as well. So talk to me a bit about that in terms of the apprenticeship pipeline and the careers pipeline.
I mean, look, with all that infrastructure coming on train, with Ireland's population growing by so much over the next kind of 10-15 years, like we need more and more people coming into construction. So today we're celebrating International Women's Day, and women are going to be absolutely critical to increasing the talent pipeline that we need and having a more diverse workshop. Apprenticeships is critical. I think, you know, we've moved the dial over the last 10 years, got more and more people interested in apprenticeship, interested in careers in construction, but we're going to have to go so much further if we're going to deliver on Ireland's ambition and the ambition of our industry in terms of infrastructure and housing.
Yeah, absolutely, and just constantly getting the message out there that this is a great
It's a great career. It's an evolving career.
Isn't it?
It's a career full of new technologies. It doesn't mean you have to be out standing on site all day, every day. There are so many different options and retrofitting and digital construction, you know, and modern methods off-site manufacturing. So many exciting different careers that are changing by the day, and I really would encourage anyone who's creative or practical or who just wants a good, well-paid career to really think about what construction has to offer.
Absolutely, and I feel for women, obviously that's why we're here, women in construction today, and like there is, 11% we figure from our latest statistics of the construction industry workforce is made up of women. Just under 10% of apprenticeships in the construction area are women. It's almost like it's like the best kept secret in the world for women. Like that, this is an amazing industry.
I think so.
It's just not out there.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but then you come to events like this and you see women who are working in construction, and what an unbelievable experience that they have, and how they've been able to fly through their careers and, you know, move up levels very, very quickly, you know, because it's so exciting and there's so much to offer. And, you know, more diversity in the industry means better decision making. It means it's better for our businesses, you know, and that's why we need to focus on it.
And like, I actually think they're all in this room, all the women in construction.
Yeah.
Because I know there's hundreds at home as well as being in this room, so I think it's just great. And for you then, obviously, your vision for CIF. What do you see coming down the tracks for us?
Look, I mean, it's a fantastic organisation, you know, 90 years of history. It's supported the industry through the complete kind of transformation of Ireland as an economy and as a society over those years. But I think we're at a pivotal point, you know, when we look at the challenges in terms of housing, in terms of infrastructure. So look, I think what Ireland needs is a strong construction industry and a strong CIF that really is positioning us as the solution to those problems, that's working closely with government, so we have that real concrete infrastructure pipeline in place that's speaking with one voice, you know, very clear on what we need in order to put the conditions in place to grow our businesses and be the answer to the housing and infrastructure problems. And look, I think the future is really exciting for the CIF and for our industry.
Another onto the 100-year centenary.
Exactly.
And finally then, I have to ask you about Give to Gain. It's our team, it's the global team for International Women's Day. Have you anything to say on the meaning of that, I guess?
Look, I think Give to Gain is a perfect way of putting it, because it's not just enough to be open to diversity, to, you know, employing women who come through our recruitment processes. You know, we have to get out there, we have to give, we have to, you know, be more flexible in our work practices. We need to be mentors. We need to make sure that our workplaces are supportive places for people to work. We need role models to tell people about the great opportunities that are in our industry. We need to be accountable. We need to measure the progress that we're making on gender balance and gender pay. So if we give all of that, then we're going to gain in terms of the skills, the talent, the innovation, the creativity, the energy that women are going to bring to our industry in the future.
That's fantastic. Great message to end on. So thanks very much, Andrew, and enjoy the rest of your first International Women's Day with CIF.
Thanks very much, mate.